All right, guys, welcome to the Trickle Up. I'm Boyce, and I'm joined here by Aaron today. So, what we got on the low today, Aaron? What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. We're going to talk about censorship. We're going to talk about the future of the Republican Party, I suppose. Where do you want to take this? It's your call.
Well, I watch, I've subscribed to your channel for a long time, man, since like about a year and a half ago, about when you started. And I've always enjoyed your point of view because you come from a different point of view, from a lifelong conservative background. I'm more independent, but left leaning. And I saw that your last live stream, you said, I'm done with YouTube, and then I heard you out and I was like, you know what? I get it. Because you said in your video, if they can shut down Trump, who am I? Who's next? So I just want to kind of walk that back and see. Like, I understand, like, if I own Twitter, I get it. It's not good for business if someone's using your platform to coordinate something, but it's also not very intellectually honest when there was more coordination on Facebook than anything else.
Right.
But Twitter's making the biggest move. And then you got Parler, who can't be hosted on Amazon now. And I understand it's not a First Amendment issue, but it is a censorship issue. Because it's not the government. The government forcing Twitter to put him on there would be communism. But it's a private industry. But we have to figure. Well, my solution is a 21st century Bill of Rights that addresses the technical aspects that were not even. Come on, let's be real. It's 1776.
Right.
And let me tell you, those guys at the board at the damn Capitol let you know what damn year that was. They know that date. Listen here, buddy. But so I think we need an updated Bill of Rights that addresses the First Amendment when it comes to in the digital space. When it comes to social media platforms, if you have near monopoly and you're operating as a place where people get their news, that's when you get that gray area is what's the responsibility and who's liable, and when do you get to how do you want to put this? When are you going to be held to the same standards as a publication, like a legit journalism? So I'm just still confused by the whole thing. I don't know enough about the legalities of it, but I understand that I don't agree with censorship. Period. Even bad censorship, even bad language. To me, to beat bad ideas, you gotta have good ideas. But I don't know. Where do you kind of see that whole thing from your point of view?
Well, my whole deal is basically they take no responsibility for their role in anything. Like these media companies, their entire business model is sensationalism. It's taking a message and amplifying it because they know they have all the data that says Aaron is going to watch a video if we have these factors and if we use certain words in the title. So we've seen where news sites will have the A/B testing, where they'll be like, this title works better on conservatives, this title works better on leftists. We see that. We see the fact that they have all of our information. They know who we are better than our closest loved ones. So even it's funny going back to like the Cuties controversy, which I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yes,
Cuties movie, right? And my point then was, I wonder what the Netflix data says about a movie like that, because I bet Netflix, just like every other platform, has data that says, hey, you might not agree that this movie exists, but our internal numbers say that people watch this movie 85% of the way through. And that, they know. Whereas me and you, it's conjecture, it's opinion, it's hyperbole. They have all the numbers in the world that they base their decisions off of. And as a business, that's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, yeah, I know that might sound morally correct, but all our numbers say these titles work. This is what people need to see. This is the stream of information. So when they get to be the law and order when it comes to what gets published, and they also get to decide what your individual feed is, and they also profit from you staying on the platform, I just feel like you're giving them too much control. And I know you can say that Trump didn't do what he should have done and he was egging these people on, but so was every other arm of the media that put these stories up, and they used those headlines and they called it they said our democracy was being stolen. I mean, Fox News was all about the sensationalism as well. I
Yeah.
called it out back then. I've been consistently calling it out.
Mhm.
If you're going to be like Yang said it, right? Nobody wants to use the second biggest search engine in the world, right? So this whole idea of, oh, we'll go find them alternative space on the internet, it's like, come on, man. Nobody's
Yeah.
doing it, right?
In
Like
5 years.
it's just too much work, right?
Mhm.
Google controls search, first of all. So before you even find, and as we see with Parler, we'll
Mhm.
just deplatform them. So you know what I mean? Like they can make it extremely difficult for you to operate.
Yeah.
You to the dark web or whatever. So now you're operating nefariously. It's just it's too much control for too small a group of people that don't have any real responsibility because they get to fall back and say, "Oh, we're a private company."
Mhm.
But they're really the streets of America now.
Well, especially now, we can't even go to the street. Like you can't literally go in front of people and have public discourse. And now it's internet discourse. It's not even public discourse.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm very perplexed how we're at this point where, like you're saying, things Trump said have been said by others and they don't get censored. So I know it's not it's not an equal treatment. And at the same time, he kept kicking that line, man. You know what I'm saying? So I understand from their point of view, like, bitch, we're Twitter.
Right.
We own this, bro. Keep it up. You think you're cool and all, but we got the power, and they flexed on him.
Well, remember where Twitter was before Trump was running office. Okay, I used to dabble in investing in Twitter, and it wasn't a good bet because they had issues with monetization. Their stock was not doing particularly well, and then Donald Trump used it to become president. All
Yes.
of a sudden, Twitter is favorable. People are talking about it popularly, and you saw their stock made. I didn't see the numbers. I know the stock was down after they deplatformed Trump and all that. But who the hell are you?
I know, man.
Like what?
But that's the thing. Like it was like a pissing match.
Mm.
It was Dorsey's like trying. You know how he is. He's just like, I gave him plenty of warnings, and you check that box, and we gave him a 2-week ban, and he came back with the same thing. So and just very dismissive about it. But again, I want consistency, and if that's what they're going to do, you're just going to have it's just a left Twitter. Like it's the ultimate echo chamber, and I'm not interested in that. That's why I keep friends like you and all my friends around here that are conservatives. I'm like, we need to have these discussions, and if we can't have them on Twitter, where can we have them? And I signed up for Parler just to throw things out there.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I got something to challenge you guys with, man. Let's talk about it. And of course, I never got. Everybody's like, man, don't talk to that motherfucker. Got ignored mostly. But I get it, man. I get that this is a lot of pushback. But yeah, so I'm struggling with the language of it. Because it's not a First Amendment thing, because we haven't addressed the language of the First Amendment that doesn't include social media. It's just this whole nother thing that's just unable to be incorporated in today's Constitution, really, and it exists in a place that did not exist. Like it might as well be in outer space as far as those guys are concerned. So like we do need an updated version. So I think we had an updated version on the First Amendment and how to like a speedy trial. Come on, what? I know there's a guy here that I know his family. He's been in jail for 3 years awaiting trial because he can't afford a cash bail. You know what I mean? For because he had what do you call it? Like back child support, and then he had a warrant out, and then he got in a car accident. Someone hit him. He got arrested. He's just sitting there, man. 3 years in a county jail, awaiting a trial. So I think speedy trial, all those types of things need to be addressed. Like, okay, what's a speedy trial? What is high crimes and misdemeanors? What the hell does that mean? Like, there's too much. Like, we're seeing it right now. They're playing with the language to do another impeachment, which they did do today in the House.
Bad idea, by the way.
I think it's a waste of time and resources. But I understand why they feel like they have to do it to confirm their reelection chances is what it comes down to. You know, they want to stay in power. Well, then we're gonna get rid of him and he'll never run for president again. Okay.
Well,
But
just in the House. So now you're just dividing the country in a point where we're already divided. We were divided
hell
before.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's getting we had a contentious election.
Yep.
Now the Republican Party itself is fractured, and you're going to follow that up by saying let's censor him and let's try to impeach him 10 days before he's kicked out of office.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah,
Like
I agree. Like
you're
again,
basically telling 40% of America your opinion doesn't matter and you're next and you should be on guard, and people don't want to feel like that, and that's why they were at the Capitol, and this is not none of this is going to make it any better.
I don't think anything they could have done if Trump won. I don't think it would have gotten better either. So I think we were doomed no matter what.
I think if Trump won, then Trump would have won. I mean, I don't think the left would have done that. I think the left would have been upset, but I don't
Yeah.
think it would have been. If Trump won, it wouldn't have been that he got cheated. It wouldn't have been that Joe Biden got cheated. It would have been that Trump just won.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kind of how they were like, we're so shocked that it was so close. It would be that kind of response.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe there would have been some people who were upset, but it wouldn't have been a questioning the legitimacy of the election, which
Right.
was always the concern, which is why I said back then, take every single thing 100% seriously, investigate it, show everybody all the
Yeah.
information, because you don't want this election to be over and people are questioning the results. And here we are.
But don't you think Trump's rhetoric is that's the whole, like, he led that charge?
Sure.
You
But
know,
but he didn't tell people to go into the Capitol and do what they did. He didn't tell them that.
not directly. But I think it's kind of like Charles Manson never told someone, hey, stab them in the face. But he got them riled up and said, those are the people, you know, like he William Wallace these people.
Sure.
And got them jacked up and says, we're going that way. You know, it is what it is. Like, that's how you do that shit.
But see, now we go back to the social media platforms themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is more responsible? We'll say radicalized. I want to use that, not to say these people are radical, just to use that word.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think had more of an influence in radicalizing these people? The flood of media they consumed, or the sporadic tweet from Donald Trump?
Oh, I would
I'm not saying
definitely.
that he doesn't have a position where you wouldn't take his word, more seriously or whatever. You wouldn't give him his deference. I'm simply saying people were in that echo chamber for the entire duration of the Trump presidency, and
Yeah.
the Fox Daily updates was sensationalizing everything that was already happening. I mean, even CNN was doing it. CNN would take a minuscule Trump tweet and they would run it all day instead of just being like, okay, we're going to let this go because this is not really super important.
Yeah. Well, and that's another layer of this murkiness is news for profit. It's just like medicine for profit. You can't trust them if they're doing it for profits. Just like people don't trust the COVID-19. I got the vaccination last Tuesday on the, what the hell day was that?
Probably you're a medical professional.
11 days ago. Yeah, I'm a frontliner, man. I work with COVID patients, so I got that sucker ASAP. And tomorrow's the first day I get to see my kids and girlfriend in 6 weeks.
Nice.
I've been in like a modified quarantine. I go to work and I come home. That's it. Because I work with patients that are actively have COVID in their home, but they're not sick enough to go to the hospital and stay there, and they're refusing to go to a nursing home or rehab because they can't have visitors and afraid of dying alone.
Right.
So we have to go into these rooms where there's no ventilation. You got to wear an N95 mask, and you hope for the best. Like that's not perfect. It's not a controlled environment. But yeah, I took that sucker, man. Pfizer hooked me up. Let's go. I get my booster on the 26th.
Nice.
And I had zero side effects. Not even. I thought maybe I'd spike a temperature and maybe the joint pain and then and like cold sweats, like a fever. Nothing. So I was like, all right, cool. Keep it moving. I expected some side effects. I was skeptical of this thing too. I was like, man, shit, they did this in less than a year. They took down all the safety rails, man. I'm like, damn. But then my employer gave us the literature and said, okay, here's the studies. Here's the most common side effects, and it's about 20% of these that are very light, and the most harsh side effects is less than 1%. That's why we're putting it out there, and it's the mRNA one. It's the first one ever, so that's kind of like buying a new model of Impala. You shouldn't do that. Wait for the second year. Like let them get the bugs ran out that sucker, that for the get those recalls out of the way.
I'll be waiting.
I'm worried about that too, but I just feel like I have a responsibility. I have to be that.
Yeah.
I'm in good health.
Yeah.
And I'm treating patients. So.
Oh, for sure. I totally understand. You really have to.
Okay, so where can people find more stuff out from you, Aaron?
They can't. Thank you.
They can't. It's over.
No, I still have my channel, Humanity Films. If I do anything that I feel is worthy of publishing, I'll do that. But for the most part, I'm going to be kind of silent until we get some information, some answers on censorship, the algorithms, where this thing is going. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've set up dangerous precedents, and I honestly just don't want to participate in that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and battle big tech, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be the crazy guy screaming. And no, I'm just going to be like, all right, cool, you guys can have it. And if enough people do that, or enough people try to go to another platform and they say, you know what, maybe this isn't the right way, we come up with some transparency, some clear-cut rules, some government oversight, something that makes me feel comfortable investing time and effort into doing so on a platform, then sure. But in the meantime, I'll be kind of AWOL. But I'm always down for guest appearances. So,
well, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this in the comment section. And while you're here, go and give the video a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get alerts. And thanks for joining us, guys. And see you guys later. Gang, gang.